I'm very glad to be here today. I'm very pleased that for the warm invitation by Historians Without Borders, and I'm looking forward to our discussion and connection and dialogue. This is the second discussion about Vergangenheitsbewältigung, which means dealing with the past. And in the description on the website, it is mentioned that this is about strategies of remembrance, denial, and commemoration. And when I read that, I said, okay, I will pick denial as a strategy for dealing with the past. And I will focus on the denial of the worst type of crimes, the grossest crimes, international crimes. Atrocity crimes. Atrocity crimes is an umbrella term for three types of gross crimes: genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes. There are subtle differences between these three types of crime written down in the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, but that need not to bother us here for the moment. These atrocity crimes are usually recognized as such in the final judgments of international courts and tribunals. Or, if that is not the case, by virtual consensus among the community of experts, scientific experts, historians in particular, because we speak almost always about past atrocities. Well, if I look for a definition of atrocity denial, the denial of atrocity crimes, I have to identify two types. There is denial, first of all, perhaps the most important form of denial of atrocity crimes is denial when the crimes are still going on. And this is a very peculiar and very bad form of abuse of history, because it is accompanied with the erasure of evidence of the crimes. And at all stages of the crime, from the planning stage of the crime until the erasure of mass graves. The second type of denial is denial after the fact. Denial when the atrocity crime has happened. And this denial, what we see when we look in perspective, can last for generations among some people of the public and of politicians. Denial consists of two types of claims: a factual claim and a normative claim. You see, my approaches will be global, comparative, but also theoretical. I speak about the denial of atrocity crimes in general. The factual claim is very simple. There you deny that a certain crime has taken place. The normative claim is that you admit that the crime of sorts has been committed, but you deny that the crime in question is a genocide or a crime against humanity or a war crime. Now, the standard case is denial. You say it did not happen. But there are all kinds of variations very close to denial, such as minimization of a crime, glorification of a crime, apology for a crime, approval of a crime, justification of a crime, condoning a crime. These are rhetorical strategies that are not outright denial, but go into that direction. In my handout, I have made an overview of cases, of situations and cases of denial. And you will see, and this is a very disquieting fact, it is not only the Holocaust that is being denied by certain minorities or certain politicians. All atrocity crimes have their deniers. And this is a very disheartening conclusion. All atrocity crimes have their deniers. The Holocaust is the paradigmatic case, of course, the case we know most about. Holocaust has been denied in many countries in Europe where the Holocaust took place, but also in other continents, in the Middle East, in the United States, in Australia, a little bit around the globe. The Armenian genocide has been denied in Turkey. The Holodomor, the famine induced by Stalin in the early 1930s, has been denied during the Soviet Union officially, and again is the object of denial in Russia today. The genocide of the Tutsis in Rwanda in 1994 is being denied by some. The Srebrenica genocide in Bosnia and Herzegovina has many deniers in the Republika Srpska in Bosnia. This is for genocide. There are many genocides that are being denied. Crimes against humanity as well. The crimes in the Congo Free State at the end of the 19th century have had many deniers in Belgium until the late 1970s, 1980s. The sexual slavery system in the Far East under Japanese domination, the comfort women issue, has been denied in Japan. The Nakba, the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in 1948, has many deniers in Israel. The disappearances, the thousands of disappearances in Argentina under the military dictatorships is being denied again these days under the regime of President Milei. The same goes for war crimes. The rape of Nanking, 1937. The executions in Katyn in 1940. The My Lai massacre in Vietnam in 1968. They all have certain deniers. So you see, it is a very widespread phenomenon. Do not make the mistake that the only denial that we know or that exists is Holocaust denial. It is a very important form of denial, but denial is very widespread. I am an historian, and seen from a historical perspective, the issue of denial is not very difficult. Denial is an abuse of history. You do not weigh the evidence as a good historian should do. It's a breach of the integrity of our profession. It is a form of pseudo-history, of epistemic injustice, because you deny a certain dignity to the victims of these crimes, the dead victims as well as the living victims. Those defending denialist theses are not historians. And their views, wait a minute, denialists do never call each other, 1 minute? Oh, okay. Their views are not legitimate forms of historical revisionism. Denialists do not call themselves denialists, they call themselves historical revisionists. And this is very confusing because there is a type of legitimate historical revisionism that we all, as working historians, bring into operation, but this denial should not be confused with this. I will skip, because this is the point of view of an historian. There is also a point of view of a human rights advocacy, which is complicated with hate speech and the threshold between free expression and hate speech. I cannot elaborate on this. Well, let me very briefly and abruptly close my little talk by saying that you will all agree, and it is easy because there is no serious dissidence in this room. We all look in the same direction. Denial is not a good strategy to deal with the past. Thank you very much.